Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Let's have a look at these markets. You can see it's been a pretty boring day, really, with all the U.S. markets. Everything's flat. You know, S&P totally flat, Dow totally flat. Just nothing exciting happening today. There hasn't been any significant news today, so it's not too uncommon to see things kind of slow down for a bit. But we do have some good news coming out tomorrow, and we have some good stuff later on today. We're going to talk about that specifically later on today. In about the next 50 minutes or so, we have employment numbers coming out of New Zealand. This will be a bit of a mover, so keep an eye on this. Be ready for some activity if you're trading any of the New Zealand pairs. And then we're going to have a live session today for the Australia employment numbers as well. So that's going to be 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Remember, we have our daily wrap-up every day at 4 p.m. Pacific. So that'll be, we'll talk about a couple of setups, and then we'll see if we can do some trading on this employment numbers for Australia. Coming into tomorrow, we have all kinds of stuff. You can see that there's just, there's so much stuff I can't even list it, but we have a lot of things going on tomorrow, namely interest rate announcements for the UK and the European Union, the ECB. So we're going to be watching for that, and then we've just got, things all over the place. So tomorrow should be a pretty active one. Okay, so quickly getting into some of these setups here. Euro dollar ended up coming pretty nicely. The UK session was a pretty active one last night, actually. Pretty exciting. We saw some good movements downward on this euro dollar. It dropped about 100 pips from this double top down into support once again. We hit that 13500, 134.95 area, bounced off that, and we're just kind of not really going anywhere for the last 10 hours or so. Hasn't done too much. But I'm still looking. This euro dollar, we've had some interesting news. We've had a couple of interesting things that are being brought up as far as some criticisms about from the European Union, from the ECB, from France, from some of the other countries as well, about the strength of the euro. And they're really kind of starting to hate on that situation, understandably, because this is not great for the European Union to have a strong currency right now. Confidence is good and strength in the euro is good, but to an extent that it's making them completely non-competitive on the international market because of how expensive their currency is kind of an issue. So here's where we are. Euro dollar has got a nice trend, and I'm still favoring an uptrend, but see this little area right here, 134.50.55. I don't think I can click on that and move it. Okay, I can't. So 134.50.55 area is the bottom of this daily reversal candle, and that's also some nice existing support and so on. So if we can hold above this, I'm bullish. If we start to break below this 130.50, then I think we're easily headed into 134.50. Then I think we're easily headed into 13400 and possibly beyond. You can see that our 13400 area is right about there, so it just goes right along with the tops of these guys, and if we break below those, then we have a big retracement in the works. But right now, as long as we can stay above this 134.50 area, then I think we've got a nice continuation up in the works. So this is 134.50.55. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I think there's a slight chance we could get a break of the a little break of this 13500 level today, sometime today. And if we do get that, let's trade that down to 134.50, and then let's look for buying opportunities off of that. But it's going to be a little tricky, so we want to see some nice reversal candles there. But that's kind of what I'm looking for in that euro dollar. Looking for a break, possibly of 13500, and hopefully an opportunity to buy off 134.50 with a little opportunity to sell down to that area in the first place. So that's kind of what I'm watching for on this euro dollar currently. Pound dollar, remember the pound dollar has just hit a about a 4-year-long trend line right here. We've hit that, and we're bouncing on that so far. And it looks like, there's a strong downtrend in play for sure. Big time strong downtrend. And I think we're going to get a little bit of retracement. I think we should get a little bit of retracement off that movement. From the high to the low here, we're talking 750 pips. So we should see a little bit of a bounce somewhere in this general area here. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. But I'm still very, very bearish pound dollar. I think we've got a good chance to kind of hit this daily pivot up here. It's about 30 pips up there. So watch for that daily pivot. Watch for the pound dollar to run to the daily pivot and to the 200-day moving average. I don't have a very specific entry on this one. I'm not really doing anything just yet here. I'm just kind of watching it. We have this nice little double bottom here. That's about 156.30. So if we can stay above that, you know, I'm bullish. We're about 30 pips above that right now. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Let's look and see if we can get a bounce there. A break on this could open this up to much further downside, but I think we might just get a bounce here and be able to trade this up to the daily pivot, possibly up to the 200-day moving average. Big event today on the Australian news. Remember, Australia is going to have employment numbers, and it's a pretty big mover. It's kind of like non-farm payroll for the U.S. You know, they can be very active, or, you know, if things come out decently as expected, then we might just see nothing happen at all. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what I'm looking for, and so on. So for right now, I'm not doing anything on this Aussie dollar, but I'm bearish below about 103.80, 104.00. If we can stay below that, I'd love to see the Aussie dollar rally up there, give us a chance with the news coming out. And if we can get a little run right up into that general area, I would be bullish here, or excuse me, bearish, and sell off of that level, hopefully down into some of these bigger areas. So we've made a nice break of this 200-day moving average in the 103.80 area that we've talked about so many times. So if we get a little retracement up there, I think that's great, and that's going to, you know, give me a nice opportunity to sell the pair at a higher price with the ultimate target of about 9,800, you know, somewhere down around this 200-day moving average. So that's what I'm looking for there. And then kind of last but not least here, we have the euro yen. This was a nice trade from yesterday. We broke below 126.95, which was my area yesterday. We talked about this in the daily wrap-up and the daily video. Moved down nicely and has retraced back up. I wanted to sell off this area once again, and we got right up to about 126.80, and it's just kind of hopping around. So for the moment, I'm going to look and see if we get a little bit of a break up above this, and I'm going to see how it reacts once we get up to 12700 once again. If it can stay below 12700, I think we're in business. But what we have on the euro yen here is we've got, you know, a nice little new high with a negative candle on that daily chart, which is a bit of a bearish signal so far, and I think we're going to have a nice little run coming up here. So I'm slowly looking for some retracement trades, but right now I'm looking to see if we can break this trend line, get a run up, trade it up to resistance once again, trade it up to 12700, 12710, and then start looking for opportunities to trade back down to a trend line, back down to missed daily pivots, and so on. And again, the Aussie, one level to just keep an eye on with this Aussie yen is going to be 95.95, and that's this level right here. Weekly low, a little high back here. Just watch this level. If we get a break of that, we could see some pretty significant movement coming up with that in the Australian employment numbers. As for the rest of them, pound yen is getting pretty choppy and messy. Dollar yen pretty choppy. I'm kind of keeping my eye on this 130.90 on the euro Aussie. If we get a break of that, I think we might be able to test that daily pivot. So that's just kind of, you know, side note, one of the things I'm looking at. But definitely the focus is on some euro dollar activity and some Aussie dollar later on this afternoon. So remember, be in the chat for the daily wrap up. We're going to cover the Aussie dollar. And we'll cover some of that movement. Thanks a bunch, everyone. Best of luck, and follow me on Twitter at DayTradersFX. Thanks, guys.